has he done in that regard? How did he look in press coverage against the Giants?
I thought he did a really nice job. He competed his tail off. I love everything that Jason stands for. His mindset, his work ethic, his want to, his grind. All of it is off the charts. And to see him go out there and have the success he had was awesome. Now it's just a matter of stacking together good days for him. But I thought his performance overall was pretty darn good. And really excited to see him get better as the year goes on and continue to stay healthy and contribute, and really more for him than anything else. As far as the press coverage question part of it, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for him to get up there and press last week. There were a few. He's coming along really good in that regard. He's got great patience at the line of scrimmage. He's got very, very strong hands, and his foot speed is off the charts. So, he is right in that usually the feel of all that stuff is the last thing to come. But he's been all the way through training camp and all. He's been getting better every day. So we're so excited for him.
Robert, it's only been one game, but did Verret show you enough in one game that he is a candidate to be out there, even when Richard Sherman comes back from injured reserve, that he could be a starter?
You know what? To be honest, I'd take it one game at a time. For him, it's I don't want to put pressure on him to think he's got to do anything to prove anything. His whole thing for the whole thing for Jason is just to find a way to get better every single day and continue to stack up good days, and everything will take care of itself. And so. For Jason, I love where he's at mentally. He's having fun out there. He's competing his tail off. So it's don't want to put the cart in front of the horse quite yet, and but just give him the opportunity to just go play and compete.
Robert, sorry, I have one more Jason Verret question for you. Just going back to last year, I'm sure he was obviously disappointed that he wasn't able to stay on the field last year. How did he handle all of that, and what was his mentality like just through that process to get back to where he is now?
I don't know if there's a guy in this. There are. I don't want to take away from other people, but what he's been through, both mentally and physically, and what he's had to go through, the roller coasters, the ups and downs of trying to get back to the football field. I don't know if there's a lot of empathy in the world aside from the people that are in the locker room with him, and to see his grind and what he does and what he stands for. You have an entire organization cheering him on, and we love what he's doing, and it's beyond just the playing ability. It's just what he's been through and how hard he stuck to it, and all the things that he's had to go through, and the trials and tribulations that he's had to endure. So he's couldn't be happier enough for him, and I pray for him, the individual, that he continues to have good health and continues to get better.
Or what did you see out of Deion Jordan, Ziggy Ansah that you liked in their first reaction for you?
I was pumped for him. Those guys, man, especially Deion, he's had I don't want to say he's had a rough go of it, but he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's a lot better than people think he is, and I love the way he plays, his mindset every day at practice, and I love that he's getting this opportunity and he's taking advantage of it. And then as far as Ziggy's concerned, he hasn't had training camp. He really hasn't played much over the last year and a half, and for him to get his legs underneath him, he showed some really good stuff in the game. I know it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but really excited about where Ziggy looks in practice. He feels healthy. He looks good. He's in the right place mentally, and he feels at home with our defensive front and the way our system teaches defensive linemen. So excited for those two guys to continue to take advantage of their opportunity and continue to get better every single day.
Robert, I have another one on Jason Verret, and not to sound flippant, but just given that he does have the injury history and everything that he's gone through, how do you weigh that when you make the decision to have faith in somebody to potentially be somebody who's going to have to start games, just given what's happened to him the last few years?
So there's two types of people in the world. There are those who have belief where they need to see things happen before they actually think it can happen. And then there's those who have faith, and they're the ones who can see it happen before it ever does happen. And for Jason, you already hit it. How do you have faith? You have faith in that he's going to string together games. Now, does that mean not having people ready and continue coaching people and everyone in the building and there's nobody who's immune to an injury. He's just gotten bad luck over the last couple of years with the injury bug, and no different, knock on wood, than Jimmy. He had a string of bad luck, and then organization put a lot of faith in him because we knew what type of player Jimmy would be if he could just string together a year. Same thing with Tart. Same thing with K'Wan Williams. You can go down the list for guys that this organization has put a lot of faith in, and it's no different for Jason. And when his string of bad luck ends with these injuries, you're going to see a phenomenal football player. And so, but that doesn't stop us from coaching everybody equally and understands it's part of the game. And but yeah, so there's preparation always. But hopefully, I answered your question.
Robert, I have a question about a cornerback, but it's Dante Johnson. What is it about him? He's on, maybe his fourth or fifth stint with the 49ers. What is it about him that's kind of, you keep his name in your Rolodex and continue to call on him? What gives you, I guess, that confidence or comfort?
He's the ultimate pro. He's got great veteran leadership. At practice, he executes all the techniques. He knows exactly what we need done in the defense. He knows how to play corner. He can play multiple spots, even though we haven't asked him to. He's very intelligent, and so there's a trust factor that he's going to be exactly where he needs to be, and he's going to put himself in position to be successful. He's not a liability on the defense, and so for Dante, there's a trust factor that he's going to do things the right way. He's going to compete his tail off. He's going to provide great veteran leadership, and he'll always be prepared to step on the football field and excel at a high level. And so he's when you have guys like that, and not to take away from his special teams ability too, because he's a pretty darn good special teams player too. So Dante has made himself darn near irreplaceable in the sense that he is just a very reliable individual, and that's why you see guys like him able to stick and contribute and provide good depth.
Hey, Robert. Two quick questions. One, do you have any update on D Ford or Bosa in terms of the recoveries or surgeries or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And then the other one was when Fred Warner had that interception against the Giants. We see his athletic traits and his ability in coverage. Is that more important in today's NFL than having a linebacker that's just known as a hellacious hitter?
That's a good question. We talked about it 4 years ago. Our whole system was built around the fact that the evolution of the tight end and the line and the running back started taking place long before the evolution of the linebacker started taking place. So they were outpacing the evolution of the linebacker. And so when you look at our scheme and the Telvin Smiths, the Miles Jack, Bobby Wagner, now you look at our guys here with Fred Warner and Quan Alexander and even Aziz and Dre Greenlaw, people look at them and they think, well, they're kind of small, but they pack a punch, they run like gazelles, and they're incredibly intelligent. And so that's, in my opinion, today's linebacker. They've got to be versatile. They've got to be able to play the run. They've got to be able to play the pass. And a guy like Fred, who in college basically played nickel, if you go back and watch his tape, but for him to transition behind the ball and be able to play with the feel he has and the run pass recognition and feel for run game and all that stuff, he is a special talent, and so we're glad we have him.
Do two more for Coach.
Hey, Robert. Yesterday, Jimmy Ward said that he feels for the defensive backs that every game is pressure because the media, he said, tends to talk trash about the defensive backs. Do you see that fuel them and kind of manifest their success on the field?
You know what? It's never wrong. It's never bad to have an external motivator give you a little nudge, but we always talk about ignoring the noise. Really don't care what people say. We're an internally driven team, and we focus on what we've got full control over. But if that external motivator gives him the nudge he needs to continue to be the player he is, and then so be it. Grab hold of it. But it still comes down to being internally driven and wanting to show the world how great you are every day instead of prove the ones who doubt you or prove the ones who believe in you right. and focus on those things. But I love Jimmy. Jimmy's the ultimate competitor, the ultimate internally driven individual, and I love him. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he's he's a dog. So I could appreciate it.
Hi, Robert. One thing that really stood out to me was when Fred Warner said that Jaquaski Tart helped tip him off almost to that route on the interception to Ingram. And that's not the first time that I've heard that Jaquaski has been just a great communicator for you guys. I was hoping that you might be able to help enlighten me on what exactly Jaquaski brings to the table that we don't see, and maybe how much you guys missed him when he was out in those games last year in the communication regard.
So Tart, from a back end standpoint, he studies tape, he watches tape, he sees the indicators, he really understands football, and he's got a he's got a very nonchalant way of delivering information. So it's not the clapping. You get, if you're just watching the silent tape, you would think he's never talking, but he's constantly talking. And if you hang around him, you're like, man, this guy never talks. But he is constantly talking on the football field and alerting people and communicating. And when his mind is triggering and his body is moving and he's at the top of his game, he's one of the better safeties in football. And so what you don't see with regards to him talking to his teammates, getting people lined up, directing traffic in the back end, getting the corners where they need to be, Jimmy Ward where he needs to be, the disguises that he's able to create while still being able to do his job, those are things that that they don't show up on the stat sheet, and you really don't have an appreciation for it on when you're watching the game. But he's a problem with regards to the way he plays the game and the way he presents the defense with regard to disguise. But so he is a very valuable piece of the defense. Obviously, they all are, but his communication skills can be unnoticed, but it's not unnoticed here for sure.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Javon, you've mentioned being difficult on yourself and the standard that you might not reach this season. But just given that, how do you think things have gone for you over these past couple weeks?
I mean, pretty average. I mean, if we're being honest here, what you think?
I think you've been improving. Do you think you've been improving?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, man. Just so much room to grow, man. That's the thing. So everything is just average to me, you know.
Hey, Javon, I want to see you get a little more violent with your hands. If I could just give you any advice, I'm just playing. Hey, the fact that you guys don't have, Nick Bosa and now D Ford, at least for a little while, has there been talk about, guys just needing to step up to be able to pressure the quarterback because those guys were so integral to doing that?
I mean, of course, guys like D, Saleh, and Bosa. I mean, you can't replace those guys. So everybody around, all the other guys, we just trying to step up and just pick up and just keep the energy at where it was, with those guys. Like I said, you can't replace those guys. There's no way. It's impossible. So I mean, everybody's been stepping up, and we're gonna continue to do that.
Hey, Javon, this is going to be your first primetime game. There's not going to be a crowd in there in Levi's Stadium, but what are you anticipating? And I mean, is there any extra motivation or excitement that it gives you to play out there on knowing you're the only game on TV at night?
I mean, see that's the thing. I'm not excited when I play. I'm very angry when I play. So it's not excitement for me. Every game is the same, no matter who's the opponent. You look at them all the same. Of course, I'm looking forward to getting out there for another opportunity to showcase what I can do.
Hey, Javon, the Eagles use two tight ends more than any other team in the league. Kerry Hyder said they like to get physical. Do you take that as sort of a challenge?
Of course. Of course, man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure every team try to come out and play physical, man, but we're going to see,
Hey, Javon, I wanted to ask you about your pass breakup when you went up high, knocked that pass down. On what part of that play do you identify that that's going to be a pass up the middle, and how do you, balance between rushing the passer there and keeping your eyes on the quarterback to be able to do something like that?
Honestly, I don't know. It's just instinct. just instinct. That's all I could tell you. I seriously don't know. I didn't know he was going to pass the ball. Didn't know I was going to jump and tip the ball. That was my instinct.
Javon, when you say you're angry when you play, can you elaborate on that a little bit more and talk a little more about that?
I mean, it explains itself. Angry, pissed off, ready to go, man. I mean, I can't say too much because it's real vulgar, but I'm just angry. That's it. Just ready to go.
Last one.
Hey, Javon, as you prepare your body and mind to play at this ultimate level, what kind of things do you do to prepare yourself physically and mentally? And have you learned anything now in your first couple months playing at this level?
I mean, I learned that you got to hydrate and you got to sleep, man. That's the most important two things, Coming in every day, week in, week out, you got to be on top of your sleep and your hydration because those are really the two key things to help you get your body back, when it's time to practice and when it's time to play. So,
thank you, Javon.
Sure.
Hey, DJ. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A few of your teammates, some of the backup guys, have talked about how important Kyle Shanahan has been just in making sure that they're always on top of their game, even if they're not starters, making sure that they're always focused. As a guy who has become a starter over the past few years, what was that? What was Kyle's role in helping you through that and making sure that you were always kind of on top of things, even when you weren't necessarily a starter?
I mean, like you said, he makes sure that the backup group gets the same amount of reps as the starters do. Majority of the time, the backups are going against the ones, so you're getting better competition. So I mean, he just keeps us all ready, just ready to go whenever our number is called.
Hey DJ, Javon Kinlaw was just in there and said that his play has been below average. He's making incremental improvements. Exactly. Can you give us your assessment on his performance?
I think he's just being tough on himself. We can all see he's getting better week by week. At the rate he's going, he'll be all. I mean, I'll put that on his shoulders. I believe he could be all pro. He's got potential. He's strong. He can play. He can play 3, 2. He can go out at end. I think the sky's the limit for him, and for him to say he hadn't been playing good, I think he's just making it sound good.
Hey, DJ, I realize you're not an edge rusher, but the fact that you don't have Bosa and at least D Ford for a bit now, you guys talk about everyone needed to kind of collectively raise your game just to be able to, get pressure on the quarterback?
We're just gonna play our game. We got guys, like I just said. I mean, backups that can fit into a starter role, just like the starter. But it ain't much to it. I mean, we don't need to become superheroes. We just play our game, play together, trust each other, and play for each other. Play for our fallen brothers, and see what the outcome is after that.
Hey DJ, you're wearing a vote shirt, as you know. Can you talk a little bit about why it's important to you to promote voting and what voting means to you?
Because at the end of the day, I feel like everybody has an opinion, and if you want to voice your opinion, then you need to be active. And being active is a major part of voting. So I don't want to hear a word out of your mouth if you didn't vote about what's going on in the world or what's this or what's that. If you didn't vote, just shut up. So I think it's important to vote so you can have a say so, and we have the right people in office.
Last one.
I know Jason Verret is not in your position group, but what is it about him from work ethic or what you see behind the scenes that leads to the team having so much faith in him?
I feel like just like everybody else, he's got that dog mentality. You can see even when he was injured and trying to come back that he wants it. I think that's what it's all about, like want to, and I can see it in his eyes that he's ready to ball.
Thank you, TJ.
Yep.
This is awkward.
Hey, Jarek, I had a question for you about Ross Dwelly. Fred Warner said he's one of your better one of the better players on your team. Guys talked about, no one's more prepared, things like that. I think to fans, they don't really associate Ross Dwelly with maybe these things. They're like, well, he's just, one of the backup tight ends. I guess, do you share some of the same views of your teammates? And if so, kind of What has stood out to you about Dwelly?
Uh, you know, first thing I think about when I think about Dwelly is just how far he's come from the first time he's got here. All the work that he's put in, in the off seasons. They're definitely adding up, and it shows. He's been making some plays for us this season, last season, and every time his number's called, he just balls. He can catch the ball, he can run routes. His route running has gotten better. Ever since, like I said, the first time he's gotten in here. So, that's just a contribute to the work he's put in, and then he's been with Kittle ever since he got here. That's a big help as well. So, yeah, Dwelly's came a long way, and he's been balling.
Jarek, I'm not sure how much you've mentioned this. I'm curious about any conversations you might have had with Jason Verret about coming back, and if you could tell us what those conversations are like, and just generally what it takes to have faith in yourself as a player to come back from everything both of you guys have come back from.
When he first got here, obviously with me being injured, and then him with his history of injuries, everything that went on with me, we kind of clicked right away. And the thing that really stood out to me about him is just his drive and motivation. Like DJ said, he got that dog in him. He wants it, and ever since he got in this league, he's been a top corner and a guy that you look at. So just trying to get back healthy, get his body back right, and get to playing at a high level. And when he's out there on the field, you definitely feel his presence. So I'm glad to see him back out there. Glad that he's feeling better, and you definitely contribute and help this team in a tremendous way.
Jarek, so some of your teammates have talked about how impressed they've been with just the backups coming in, and the amount of confidence that those guys have played with when they go in. I'm wondering how much of that confidence you think, and even for yourself, just how much of that confidence comes from Kyle Shanahan's scheme and the things that the positions he's able to put you guys in.
Definitely Kyle, he knows, how to match up personnel. He knows, what players do, this right or that right, or, he has a feel of, what those guys can do really well. And, putting them in the best situation to be successful and make plays. And then, I think, with, the number of guys that we have step up, just speaks on the depth that we have at each position. Obviously, our starters can ball, but the guys, behind them can ball as well. And I think it's showing.
Hey, Jarek, it's a small sample size for JaMychal Hasty. Wasn't out there a whole lot, but what did you see from him in his kind of debut?
I saw everything that I saw, in camp. His quickness, his shiftiness. He caught a pass. He had a good run. And as he goes along, every rep is going to be something to learn off and build off of. But I've seen the same thing I've seen when he got here: the quickness, the shiftiness, the burst. Everything that he has. He brought it Sunday with the reps that he had.
Hey, Jarek, how has your body responded to these opening few games from your knee to the ribs last Sunday?
Knee feels good. Hasn't been any problems. Ribs feel good. I'm just glad I could sit here and say, I'm 3 games in this year versus none. So, it's definitely been good. Definitely been on my body, just trying to make sure, I recover well and, do whatever it takes to make sure I'm good Sunday to Sunday.
Jarek, it looks like your guys are going to be close to getting Kittle and Debo back, and maybe some other guys here in the near future. How interested or excited are you just to see everybody back together on this offense, for the first time in a while when that happens?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be really exciting. Like you said, we haven't had everybody together at one time. There's guys here and there that's hurt. Myself the past 2 years, and we got some guys dinged up right now. But the good thing about it is, in a couple of weeks, we're going to get everybody back, and it's definitely going to be exciting. And teams are going to have their hands full for sure.
Hey, Jarek, we know what you can do on the ground and as a receiver, but it seems like you've done a good job stepping up as a pass protector through 3 games. Mm-hmm. So how much of an emphasis is there for backs to pass protect in this offense, and how would you grade yourself as a blocker through 3 games?
That's always been one of my strong points, one of the things that I key in on myself personally. I know I could catch, running the ball. I know my coach is going to get me right, get me better in those areas as well. But blitz pickup is definitely something that I pride myself on. So I think I've been doing a pretty good job at seeing it. Some technique stuff here and there that I can fix and clean up. But overall, I feel like I've been doing a good job. You got to protect the quarterback at all costs. So, yep.
Thank you, Jet.
Appreciate it.
No, George.
Howdy.
Hey, George.
Oh, hey.
I asked Javon Kinlaw this question, and I'll ask you just about how much more excited he gets playing in a primetime game. And he said he doesn't get excited, he gets angry. How would you describe yourself and your mindset for primetime games?
I don't know if I ever play angry, really. Just excited at the opportunity. Coach Shanahan always says it's Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night football is when the whole world's watching. And so just adds that element of fun to it, I guess. Like I said, I get excited at the opportunity. I mean, 5:25 on a Sunday night in Levi Stadium is pretty exciting. I know our fans won't be there, but we're going to feel them, and it's just going to be really exciting to get out there and play again. I've been missing it, so just looking forward to Sunday.
Hey, George.
Hi.
Hi. This is the second time you've missed games because of an injury. You've said how challenging it is for you. Has the mental approach, was it different this time, or was it the same challenge?
Same challenge. I mean, every injury, every time you miss games, that's not fun. I mean, you can ask anybody that's missed games the past couple weeks. But knowing that I'm going to be healthy, I can go out there and play and not be worried about anything. Just let it loose. That's all I'm looking forward to. And, once you get over that hump and you know that you're going to be back and you're going to be fine, it makes it a lot easier. And so, definitely my teammates made it a lot easier. They picked me up and definitely, they held it and got 2 wins. And I'm just looking forward to contribute and help the team this week.
George, how close were you to playing last week? And how excited are you potentially to get Debo back in the mix and have something close to your full complement of offensive weapons?
I feel like I can always play. I feel like I could have played versus the Jets, but that's just me. I think a couple things went into me not playing, and just a conversation with Coach Shanahan, and we just agreed it wasn't just the best decision. I wasn't all the way back yet, and it's a long season. I think if it would have been later in the season, I would have definitely gone. And but hey, now I'm here, and I get to play on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles, so that's what I'm looking forward to. And then what was your second question? Sorry. Getting Debo back. Oh, I'm so excited. I love Debo. He the way he plays. I think we play very similar when we get the ball in our hands. It's just fun to be out there on the field with someone like that, and with him back too, it's going to elevate the play of our wide receiver room, and they're playing at a high level already. And so when you bring Debo back in that mix, it's just going to be exciting to watch them groove together, and from their dances to their celebrations to the excitement that they bring, they're going to be on one, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Hey, George.
Hi.
The cameras, how you doing? The cameras caught you watching the game with Jimmy on the sideline. Obviously, we couldn't see the whole game. Did you watch the entire game with Jimmy? And if not, who else did you watch it with? And what is it like to, when so many of you guys are out, how's that communication? What are you guys talking about during the game on the sideline?
Well, Jimmy got an earpiece so he could hear all the plays. I didn't get one because I'm not a quarterback. I don't know who I need to talk to about that. But so I had to get all the plays from him. And then I was watching with him. We went down and scored. And then I think the next series, it wasn't a very good series. And so, because I wasn't standing next to him, and I'm a superstitious guy. And so I watched the rest of the game next to Jimmy, making sure I was on his left side. That's just, I'm superstitious in that way. But I mean, the conversation on the sideline, we just try to, I do my best to be a leader out there, but at the same time, I'm not playing. And so I let the guys play and I let them do what they need to do. And I just enjoy watching my tight ends play and play at a high level. Ross Dwelley had a hell of a game, played incredible. And so I'm just excited to see him get that opportunity. And, Jordan was playing at a high level too before he had that knee thing. And even Charlie got in there, got some great meaningful reps. And so I'm just excited to see the tight end room take a step forward, and hopefully I can help take another step forward this Sunday.
George, you literally drove me to right where I wanted to go. Your boy Dwelley, 4 for 4, I believe he was on Sunday. And you're on the sideline. Obviously, you have a mask on. We can't see your face. We can't see your reaction. I'm assuming you were pretty excited, but what was the feeling watching Dwelley out there?
Every time I've been out and Dwelley's gotten an opportunity to play, he's done nothing but ball out. So he just keeps doing it. It's not even a surprise. Like, I expect him to go out there and excel at a high level and play at a really high level. And he does that every single time. And, whether he's getting 70 reps a game and 4,000 yards plus, or, he's getting 15 special team snaps with a couple plays on offense, he always plays at a high level. And I just love that. And every time he gets a chance to go out there and prove that he can do it in both the run game and the pass game, it helps us out because it just proves, to everybody in the building that, hey, he can handle a workload and he can go out there and perform at a high level. And I'm just so excited for him. And, I mean, our tight end room, we always believe in each other. And, my tight end coach, Coach Embry, I mean, he believes in Dwelly. I believe in Dwelly. Our whole room does. And just seeing him go out there and excel just puts a smile on my face.
Hey, George, you said a couple minutes ago that you try to be a leader. Hello. You try to be a leader even if you're not in the game. Mike McGlinchey said yesterday that whether you're playing or not, they can always hear you. Can you just talk about that leadership and why you relish that opportunity, whether you're in the game or not?
I think it's a lot easier now because there's no fans. And so you can kind of hear everything, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, whenever, I'm in the game, players, we have, handshakes, conversations, ways just to stay into the game. And I try to continue those even when I'm not in the game. And whether it's talking to McGlinchey, yelling at him or, yelling at Dwelly, good football just gets me fired up. And we played a lot of good football on last Sunday in MetLife. And so I was very excited the entire game. I really wanted to be out there with them. But like I said, I get the opportunity this Sunday, and I'm just really looking forward to being back out there with the boys.
Hey George, a few of your teammates have talked about the backups playing with so much confidence. It's one thing they noticed, how those guys are always confident when they come in there, and then a lot of that stems from Kyle Shanahan. How much does his scheme and the positions that he's putting you guys in, how much confidence does that give you guys, and how do you see that kind of permeating down the roster?
I mean, I think the confidence it's really made, during practice, during fall camp and, during all the practices throughout the week. The coaches come to us, they give us a game plan, and we always feel like if we know the game plan, it doesn't really matter what the opposing team does. As long as we execute at a high level, we can usually, we can come out with a win. And so the confidence just goes down the whole roster because we all know that. And we know that our coaches always put in 100% effort. They're always going to give us their best shot. And so we go out there and we do what we're supposed to do, make the makeables, and then go out and make a great play every once in a while. We play really good football. And, I think what we've done so great the last, from week 1 on to week 2 and week 3 is we're playing team football. Week 1, offense, hey, we were good, but we were bad on third down. And when we were good, maybe the defense wasn't at the top of their game or the special teams wasn't. And then the offense wasn't good when the defense was playing well. So week 2 and 3, we were clicking, we were rolling. And it's just fun to see that. And we're just going to try to continue that into Sunday.
George, what were your impressions of Nick Mullins, and how would you describe just what his demeanor is out on the field? What kind of competitive fire does he have?
You guys know I love Nick. He's the same every single day, and that's why I love him. And even when he's at practice, it feels like it's a game with him, and that's what I love about him. He's always locked in, and he's always just ready to roll. And he is a leader out there. He leads in a different way. He just, leads with his play, which is what I respect. He never messes up. He's just there. He's consistent. And he just works hard. And I think that's just what our team responds well to, is just guys that go out there, they do their job, they do it at a high level. And that's what Nick does every single day. I love watching Nick play. I mean, we have a connection. I mean, I love all 3 of our quarterbacks. I think they're all great QBs. And getting the chance to play with Nick again, I'm excited about it, because it's BDN and he's a great QB.
Thank you, George.
See you guys.